Good afternoon, Ashley.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Olivia.
All right. So, congrats again on being the newest member of the team.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have you. As the newest member, there's going to be an onboarding process for this first couple, weeks and probably months. This is a practical training exercise. It's to satisfy my supervisory training course requirements, but I see it as being mutually beneficial. Right. So, as my supervisee, this allows me to at least impart one practical skill in your direction. And today, what we're going to focus on is importing an Excel dataset into SPSS. All right. So the goals of the session are for you at the end of the session to be able to identify at least two types of error that can occur when doing importation into SPSS, for you to demonstrate the correct steps or sequence of steps for importing a data set into SPSS, and for you to also express anything that you think from this session that you can do in the future to enhance data quality. All right. So the reason why we're doing this is because this is the research branch, and a lot of times we get information in the form of Excel datasets, but sometimes we're asked to run analysis that Excel, not that it can't do it, but it would require a lot more tedious work. So SPSS is a more powerful solution, which is also another solution that we have in the branch, and we oftentimes have to import the data to SPSS to run the more rigorous analyses, right, or inferential tests. So that's somewhat of the background for why this activity is useful. All right. So any thoughts on what I've said so far?
I think it's a good thing for me to develop my technical skills as it relates to Excel and especially SPSS. So yeah, I'm actually excited.
Okay. Are there any of the objectives that were not clear to you?
No.
Okay. All right. So Ashley, before we begin, I want to do a little activity with you. It's to give an understanding of one of the first steps, or preliminary understanding for one of the first steps that's involved in importing. So it's a little activity called Spot the Problem. All right. So if we look to the monitor, you can probably go stand up right in front of it. All right. So I want you to see on the monitor where we have 4 columns. Right. The first column we see name and the second column has age. Third column doesn't have a header or a variable name, and the fourth column has score. Do you see anything problematic about the 4 columns or any areas within the data? Can you tell me a few? If you see any.
Well, for age, are we consistently using numbers or words?
That's good. So that's one of the first things that usually is a challenge with the data. You can have a mix of variable types. Right, and what you want to do for this, you can see nominally that it should be numeric data, but in this case, we have respondents who would have given descriptive or string data. Right, so when you're cleaning for this, you'd want to make sure that it's all consistent. Right, did you see anything else?
Points, same thing. I guess points using numerical data again. Blank. Should there anything be there? No.
Alright. So there should be So there should be a variable name, and we don't know what the variable name is for the third column. Underscore, you see line, which it seems to be just a function that generates missing information, but then we would have to have a code for missing information for the fourth column, which is score. So I'm happy that we went through that, because those are three of the basic data related errors that you can have with the data that can prove problematic when doing importation into SPSS. So one of the things we want to always have consistent variable names. So the first column should always be populated with the appropriate variable name. We shouldn't mix variable types. So if we have the values under a particular variable, they should either be all numeric or all string, right? And for the areas where we have it follows true for the other one. Another one that you're not seeing here right now is the existence of special characters, but you also need to clean for that, right? Okay. I want to do is show you now the data set that we're going to be using in Excel to import into SPSS. So if you look up at the monitor again, what you'll see is the data set showing crime data for the year 2024 across the different police divisions and the different incidents of crime that would have occurred in each of these areas. All right. So you see the first column being police division, second one murders, shooting, rape, robbery, aggravated assault, right, and the year. All right. So we want to bring this information over. You notice how all of them are, there's no missing columns, all of the information is populated, there's no missing data, there's no mixed data, and no special characters. All of them are included here. So what I'm going to do next is to go through the steps of how to import the data into SPSS. All right, Ashley, so I'm going to go through the steps with you now for how to actually do the importing into SPSS. All right, so this is the data set again, but this one, it contains errors for the purpose of showing you this step one. So step one is called preparing the Microsoft Excel data sheet, right? And what we'll do in this step is to ensure that the variable names are in the first row. We are going to remove the blank rows and columns. We're going to ensure that all the data in the column is the same type, all right? So numeric or text. And then after we finish going through and doing that preparation of the data, we'll move on to step two. All right, Ashley. So now that we've completed step one, which is preparing the Excel dataset, we're going to move into step two, which is to launch the SPSS software. So we go to search. We did it pretty recently, but usually type in IBM SPSS and select it and launch. And now that we've launched, what we're going to do is to move into step three, which is to select the target file. So to select the target file, in this version, we go to File in the upper left corner, move to Open, go to Data, and then we change the file type to Excel, and then we browse for the file location. So I remember that I saved it in download. So we're looking for fictitious crime data, so here it is. So we click on it, select open. Yeah. So this brings us to step 4, which is selecting the import option. All right, and it's already selected, but we have to ensure that this box is checked for read variable name from the first row of data. If we don't have this, it won't import successfully. All right, so after we ensure that this is selected, we pressed OK, and we see that the data has been successfully carried over. All right, so now that we've brought it over, to confirm that what we did in step 1 was actually not a waste of time, we move to step 5, which is to review the data in SPSS. So we can look on the same areas, the value labels, or the variable name rather. So police division, murder, shooting, rape, robbery, aggravated assault, right? Sex, age, and year. Right? And we look over in this section to see that everything is captured correctly. So you'll see that in this, the crime types have the proper numeric typology, and the other ones have string. Right? And now that we have reviewed both the data view and the variable view, we will go ahead and save the SPSS file, which is step 6. Right? So to save the SPSS file, what we do is that we go to this icon right here that looks like a floppy disk, and it says save this document. We click on it, and then we name the file fictitious data set. Crime data 2024, and then we hit save. All right, and you'll see above where the name is there. Right, so do you believe that you'll be able to follow the steps on your own? All right, let's give it a try.
All right, so what I did, I followed step 1 to ensure that the data here is cleaned, and I ensured that there were no missing columns, no mixed variable types, no merged columns, any special characters. All right, so what I'm going to do now is to export this data set, this clean data set, into SPSS.
Okay.
So what we'll do now is to go on IBM SPSS, and we're going to launch. Alright, so to export the data and to import the data, we are going to File, going to Open, Data. Alright, so first thing we're going to do right here is to select the data, which is Excel, right? And then we're going to go into where we would have stored the data on the device, which is in Downloads. And then we look for the data, which is fictitious crime data. There it is. We click Open. What we need to know is to ensure that we have the read variable names from the first row of the data. We should select this. It's already selected, so we're going to go ahead and click OK. Now that this is pulled up, we're going to go over to data view to ensure that everything is imported. Let's see, data, go back to variable view, and to ensure that they have the correct data type, the variables have correct data variable type. This is string, numeric, string, and that is it. So what we're going to do is to save, give it a name. We're going to call it fictitious crime data. All right, 2024, and we're going to save.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. So that's it.
All right, so Ashley, that was actually a phenomenal performance by you. I actually did not expect you to get it that fast. But interestingly, what the areas that I'm most impressed with is the fact that you were able to go through the steps so seamlessly, not even robotically in terms of step 1, step 2, step 3. It does seem like it was very intuitive for you. So yeah, I appreciate that because it means that you listened throughout the process. Is there any area that you've picked up throughout those steps that you think you'll use going forward to ensure data quality?
Definitely. The cleaning of the data in Excel first before importing it to SPSS to ensure that we eliminate all the errors in Excel. I definitely believe that that can ensure really good data quality going forward.
All right. I second that, and I encourage you to do that more routinely because it's something that's going to be a common part of the work.
Yeah.
But with all that said, thank you for participating in this session with me today. I really appreciate the time and your attentiveness and your proficiency. So on that note, we'll end the session. All right.